Hey Mecca, it's Lipstick Nick, Morphe's Director of Global Artistry, and today I'm going to show you guys how to create one of my favorite go-to bronzy glam looks using the JACLYN Hill palette now available at Mecca. First thing I'm going to do is base my eye. So to do this, I'm going to use a buffer brush from Morphe. This is the M173. I'm going to use this guy and a little bit of a full coverage concealer. One is more of a light flesh tone and one is a white. I'll do this a lot too if I want to create a brighter shade out of the concealer color that I already have, and just do a really nice even layer all over my lids, taking it all the way up to my brow bone. And I'm even gonna wrap it around underneath my lower lash line because I am gonna smoke out a bunch of shadows down here and I'll need the concealer to grab and hold on to the pigment. Same thing on this side. And once my eye is based, I'm gonna go into my first crease color. So to do this, I'm gonna take a pretty average size blending brush. This is the M330. I'm gonna start off kind of in order from lightest to darkest. So I'm gonna go right up here on this first row and go to color number 4. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that on my brush, tap off the excess. This is gonna make sure that you don't have a ton of fallout. I love the sound that that makes with my nail. And I'm gonna plug this directly into my crease. And you're gonna keep just building the intensity. Now obviously the more layers you add, the more saturated the color will be. So if you want something super light and natural, I would say 1 or 2 times is fine. But for me, I'm probably gonna go about 5 or 6 just because I really wanna build. It's gonna add more depth and also be a really nice base to blend my next color onto. If you notice, I am using very little pressure and I kind of go in this back and forth sweeping sort of windshield wiper motion. And I always hold my brush really, really low so it kind of gives me this like loosey-goosey grip. So now I'm on to my next color. I'm gonna take a fresh clean brush. This is a M330, again, just a fresh one. And I'm gonna go into my second row, third color in. That's gonna be my next transition tone, and just keep building that depth in my crease. And this is gonna go directly under that first color. And sometimes I'll go back with my first brush, just right where the 2 colors meet, and sort of sweep away, blend back and forth, little circles, whatever you gotta do to sort of get that perfect seamless blend. All right, so now I'm ready to add a little bit more darkness and depth to this look. This is like a nice, rich, almost like a reddish brown. So I'm gonna take that on a little bullet brush. This is the Morphe M321, easy to remember. And I'm just gonna take the point of my bristle and really saturate it in that color. Make sure I have a nice, even application on there. I'm gonna go right into this outer corner of my lid, almost in a slight V shape. So I'm just gonna pack and press. And notice up to this point, I've been doing a lot of windshield wipers and big blending sort of motions. And right here, it's just gonna be all about little tiny packing motions right here, just to really make sure I get that color in, and also I won't get as much fallout that way. And I'm taking it up a little bit more into my crease, and right here along my lash line. Right here where I need to blend that darkness with my second shade, I'm just gonna very, very lightly sweep over right where those 2 colors meet, and this is gonna help me get a really nice even blend. And I'm going back in with my second color brush, that M330, and I'm just feathering over right where those 2 colors meet. Again, just to make sure I have a really nice blend. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a brown waterproof eyeliner. I'm gonna smoke out my entire lash line here on the top. This is just gonna help create that ultra sultry, smoky look. And I'm then gonna set this with an eyeshadow. So I'm just kind of taking this in little bits all across my eyelash line. I usually start from the center and then I'll kind of build outward and then I'll come back and do the front. And normally I would do the other eye immediately after, but because I don't want this to set right away, I'm gonna take a small smudge brush. This is the M152 from Morphe. So I'm gonna take this and just smudge this pencil out before it sets. This way I can get a really nice soft smoky blend. All right, so now that I've smoked out my pencil, I'm gonna go into this bottom row, the second to last color. It's brown, almost black, and I'm gonna take a smaller smudge brush. This is the M213, and I'm gonna take a little bit of that on the point of the brush and just set all of that pencil. This is really gonna add a lot of rich intensity to that lash line. Now I'm ready for my lid color. So something fun that I like to do is instead of traditionally spraying my brush with my setting spray, I like to spray the back of my hand with a little bit of setting spray. Then I'll take my brush, dip into that, and then put a nice thin layer right all over my lid of just the setting spray. Then I'll go in with my lid color. I'm gonna use a really rich, sort of a golden bronze color here. And I find that this really helps to grab onto the pigment. of the shadow, and it just gives me high intensity shine with very little fallout because all that setting spray is really catching and grabbing onto the pigment. And then after I've put my lid color, I'll go back in with that really rich, dark, almost black brown color. And I'll take that with a little small bullet blending brush, and I'll just sweep over right where that lid color and that lash line meet, just so I get a really nice seamless blend there. So now I'm gonna smoke out my lower lash line with that same pencil that I used on top. I'm gonna take this all throughout my waterline and then bring it slightly down onto my lower lash line. I either like to use my ring finger or my pinky to kind of smoke out this part. Now, if you're using a waterproof pencil, you could actually just leave it like that, but I always like to really blow out that bottom lower lash line just to make it a little bit more intense and a little more smoky. So I'm gonna take that same almost black brown, and I'm gonna take a very small tight bullet brush. This is the M431, and I'm just gonna press this right along that lower lash line, keeping it super tight. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a transition color. I'm gonna pick something that is a little bit in the middle of this brown and my skin tone. So I'm gonna opt for this really pretty mustardy brown that's right here in the center of the palette. And I'm gonna take that using the Morphe M456. So this guy's great because it is tapered and pinched, so it's gonna help me get precisely right where I want it, but it's also sort of fluffy, so it can help me blend at the same time. So I'm gonna take this right underneath that chocolate brown, just sweeping back and forth. So this color is really just gonna soften the edges of that dark brown and help it transition into my skin tone. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kick up the inner corners of my eyes with a little bit of highlighter. I'm gonna go in with shade number 2 in this palette, which is a really beautiful, sort of like a champagne-y beige. Next up is liner. So this is a really nice skinny liner brush, an M443. Every time I do my liner, I like to sort of smash my brush, I guess, or sort of press it on each side. So I'll just kind of smash it, then flip it over, smash it again, just so it kind of creates this really skinny tapered shape. And then I'm gonna take this and just line my entire upper lash line, starting in the center, and I'll just kind of do little mini brush strokes so they all connect. This is gonna help me to hide my false lash line that I'm about to apply. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna curl my eyelashes using this Hourglass lash curler. For mascara today, I'm gonna be using the Better Than Sex Waterproof Mascara by Too Faced. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this and just give my lashes a nice light coat. I do want a little something there as a base for my false lashes to sort of sit on top of. All right guys, I'm gonna go pop on a lash and I'll be right back to show you the final look. All right, now that my eyes are complete, the last thing I have to do is a lips. I'm gonna use lip liners, super neutral, but with a little soft blushing pink kind of accent to it. And I like to slightly overline my lip. Next, I'm gonna use a lipstick cream in the shade FOREVS. So I'm gonna take this and just apply it all over my lip. And last but not least, I'm gonna take our lip gloss in shade Flower Crown, which is my all-time favorite lip gloss color from us. I'm gonna take this color and just apply a little bit right into the center of my lips. All right guys, and that completes this look. If you guys want to discover and play with Morphe, head to Mecca now. And until next time, I'll see you guys, bye.